Hey, boys and girls. It is the weather report for Wednesday, September 7th, 2022. And as you can see by my camera, I have my weight loss program is going rather well.
Very well. You need to write a book.
Yes. Yeah, the keto diet.
Oh, I thought it was a Kubler-Ross diet. But anyway, well, you can work on the title.
Well, it's the eat all kinds of really fattening, sort of like fat meat stuff that you like, but stay away from donuts sort of diet. But yeah, I'm losing
So
rather
you're saying
rapidly.
staying away from donuts will kill you.
No, I look pretty good, I think.
Okay.
I don't know.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah, so we wanted to try something here. Just a little clip to see if copyrights happen. So anyway, I'm just gonna give you a little taste of this because nobody's listening anyway, right?
Christian Craken przedstawia Phobia.
I'm gonna skip. Anyway, that's why I'm not so depressed today, because I've been listening to that for about half an hour.
Plus, you had the sunlight on you.
Yeah, well, too much sunlight, actually.
Too much sunlight.
Yeah.
You don't want to get scalp cancer.
Yeah. So Jay Bundy did a thing today, but he took it down. But it was part of a lecture from Robert Pennock. Robert Pennock, right?
Robert T. Pennock.
And Robert Pennock wrote a book called The Tower of Babel. I call it Babel.
I've always called it Babel too.
Yeah,
until
Babel.
Captain Kirk on that particular titled episode of the original Star Trek series called it Babel. So then I went to school, and when the subject came up for whatever reason, I called it Babel, and all my schoolmates laughed and made fun of me. And I couldn't understand why, because I mean, Captain Kirk, you know, if he says it's Babel, he ought to know he's in the future.
Right.
So
right. He should know. I like Babel better because it is pretty much Babel. But now the interesting thing is that Jay was trying to explain his approach, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to young Earth creationism, and the book is about that. It's really a good book about the history and the development of young Earth creationism and why it is not science. And so maybe we could get a link to that book that doesn't have like a million things after it on Amazon.
No, I'll take a look at that.
Yeah, but it's available, and it's a pretty good book, except, well, if you get an electronic form, it's hard to read. But I did buy the book, and I will get it in a couple days, but I also like to have an electronic form of it. So anyway, Jay's point is that he thinks that a lot of atheism YouTube channels are coming at it from the wrong end, talking about zinc fingers and, you know, all the stuff that we do, what we do. But the truth of the matter for myself is that I'm not interested in the meta discussion about ID and young. Well, I'm interested in the philosophy and the philosophy of science, but I'm more interested in attacking them on specific points that they make scientifically, right? That's what I want to do. It's what I enjoy doing. It's what I'm going to do. So,
Okay,
hi,
so
Dave.
where do you want the link? Do you want it in the private chat or do you want it out in the side chat?
Private chat would be good, and side chat
right.
too would be good. But anyway, so I made a comment on Jay's channel. And I said, Jay, everybody has different approaches, and we're all doing different things. And there is no real atheist community that I know of, other than we all gather in clusters. We have the cluster that knows us, right? And then we have other clusters, that know Apologia and, different groups. And everybody's got their own approach, and everybody's doing what they want to do because we enjoy doing it, right? That's
Right.
what I want to enjoy. And I don't enjoy, I only enjoy it when I'm digging deep into like protein structure or, theories of evolution and stuff like that. So,
well, the thing is with the approach, and I think the argument is that the courts have, on the witness of expert scientists, concluded that intelligent design and creationism are not science. They belong in a history class or maybe a comparative religion class, but not in the science class.
right.
Therefore, schools are not to teach it as science.
Yeah.
But the only problem with that approach is that, as I see it, is that only deals with quote unquote scientific claims that are made up to that point in time that the decision's made. Then the creationists come in and says, a judge can't use, the tools of
Right.
law to determine what's science or not science. 10 years later, they, rework their claims and come up with whether it's actually new or not, they come up with a different form of different arguments. And then you have to, I used the phrase, refresh the argument with the blood of creationists. In other words,
Right.
you have to look at those new claims scientifically and critically and decide whether they have in fact hit upon a scientific argument or not. And usually it's not, but you have to go through that work. So it's kind of an ongoing process that needs maintenance.
Well, they can't possibly ever get to the point of science. And Otangelo does a really good job of explaining this when he starts talking about methodological naturalism and how we have to let the intelligent design possibility in the door in order to be real science, right? But if you let the intelligent design possibility into the door, where does the intelligent design intervene, and how does it intervene? Like when I say, where does it intervene? Like, is God right now pushing molecules around my bloodstream and slamming proteins together? Or did he do it last Thursday? Or did he do it perhaps 3 weeks ago, or 1,000 years ago, or 6,000 years ago, or 14 billion years ago? When did God start with his little fingers? And the thing is that all of those things cannot be proven or falsified one way or the other by intelligent design. They can't possibly do that. The best they can come up with is to say, oh, look how complicated it is. It must have been designed because
which is an argument from incredulity.
Right. All the complicated things we know about are designed by humans? No, they fucking aren't. Trees are very complicated and they're not designed by humans.
Even our own languages aren't designed by us unless you count. Oh, what was that language put together for the UN or something like that? Esperanto.
Yeah.
Esperanto. Yeah, that may be human designed, but no other real human languages are. Right. Natural languages, I guess they're called. Oh, they are called natural languages. Imagine that.
Yeah.
I got another link for you. It just popped up. Robert Reed from Gin and Truth on YouTube has just posted his newest. We might as well just call them rants because he just gets on and he talks about things, but he happens to talk about them critically and intelligently. And almost, I don't know how much preparation he does, but he seems to have thought things through quite a bit.
So that one is okay. So that
the only thing wrong with trans people are people who won't accept them.
Right.
Gin and Truth. On
Okay, cool. That one is in the description. We have a whole lot of things in the descriptions today's boys and girls, starting with Sal Cordova did a thing. Now, what do you think? Alcohol exposure makes pudding brains by compromising zinc finger function. Do you think perhaps he was taking a sideways jab at old speed of pudding here?
Well, by my goodness, maybe not. It would be interesting if he said anything during his talk that might have indicated that.
Right. Yeah, I can't. We'll just go through this, I think, chronologically. But
okay, that sounds like a good idea. Always just,
But okay, now this whole idea of the Sal's degrees came on the radar in about January of 2021, December of 2020, when he was talking to Nathan from Digital Gnosis, right?
Digital Gnosis, yeah.
Right. And Nathan started questioning him about, he brought up that he'd read Russell's Principia or something like that. Principia, yeah, okay.
No, actually, Principia. I think it's called Principia for Newton.
Okay. Anyway, that he had read that and something about Russell's teapot, and Nathan just jumped on him and started asking him about some of Russell's theories, because he claimed to have a degree in mathematics and a bunch of other degrees. And then Nathan asked him what R4 was, which is the basically the four-dimensional vector space, and he didn't know. Then he didn't know what the identity of a matrix was. And then, of course, we went to the big book slamming expose, where Sal kept slamming his books. No, Gödel's, incompleteness theorem.
Slamorama.
Yeah, Slamorama. Anyway, so that was the first thing, and I thought, now I'm, I am a layman, high school dropout. My brains are burnt out on drugs and alcohol. And I knew what R4 was right away, and I know what the identity matrix is, and and I've delved into physics very lightly, mathematics quite a bit more heavily, linear algebra particularly, and I did so many years ago. So, but I knew, right? And he claims to have gone to college in 1992 for this 30 years ago, and I don't think you would have forgotten that unless you never. I mean, you can go to college and forget shit. I know you can. I think I've forgotten more than I've actually learned. But is that possible?
Yes, it is possible.
Yeah, it is possible.
But that's the phrase, I've forgotten more about physics than you'll ever learn.
Yeah, something like that. Something along that lines. So you can forget things, but there are certain key things that you should really know, and they should stick to your ribs now. Now, then he claims to be a biological or
biophysical
researcher, right? And he claims that proteins are his main thing that he does, right? And then the other day when he's reading, he's trying to figure out how he can destroy the whole idea that the earth has a magnetic field that God didn't create. He misidentified the Greek letter psi, and he was calling it phi, which is phi. Maybe they do in England call it phi, I don't know, but I've always heard it as phi.
What's the letter of pho and fum look like?
The what? Pho and fum.
Yeah, what phi, phi, pho, never mind.
Yeah, I don't know the whole Greek alphabet, so I don't know pho and fum and phi. Yeah, but anyway, so he misidentified psi, and he kept calling it phi, and I thought that's odd, because if you knew anything about protein folding at all, if you even read the first few pages of any protein folding book or paper, you would run into the sci-fi angles between the bonds in the amino acid, right? So you should have known that. And then if you look at any physics book, psi is, usually the waveform function, right? They usually represent it as psi, and most matter. I mean, psi and phi and alpha, beta, omega, rho are, chi. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know the whole
chi.
Greek alphabet. Is it chi?
Chi.
Yeah. Chi. Okay.
Alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, eta, zeta, theta, iota, kappa, lambda, mu, nu, phi, chi, psi, omega, And
What the
hopefully
fuck?
the match that you're holding has not burnt your fingers, and then you end it with sir.
What the hell is wrong with you, Scott? You know the whole fucking Greek alphabet.
Well, A, remember I took Greek in
Okay.
seminary,
Oh,
and
okay.
B, I also was in a fraternity in college where when you pledged, you had to light a match and recite the Greek alphabet X number of times before the match burned your fingers.
Right. Okay, so then Sal claims that he went to the NIH and he got some kind of a degree in biology.
A non-accredited.
Well, I went to the NIH and I couldn't find any curriculum for that. I found stuff on bioinformatics and a few other things, but I didn't find like this general biology curriculum. So I'm not sure what the hell he got a degree for in that. But then the only reason I looked was because of last night when he did this. So he's showing a paper. Let me show the paper here. Okay. So he's going over this paper from 1984. It's a review article, biological studies on alcohol-induced neuronal damage, right? And then let me go back to my YouTube. Okay. So he did this, and I think, let me see if I can. Oh,
cytotoxic. Okay, so
whoops. I still got it too fast. Okay. So,
I don't quite know what that means. So, since I don't quite know, alcohol is a well-known cytotoxic agent.
Oh, that.
Cytotoxic. Okay, so since I don't quite know what that means,
let me go to the wiki and look it up.
Hang on.
Now, okay, cyto means cell and toxic means poison, right? And if you're cytoplasm, right? Basically,
Let
cell
me ask
fluid.
you this question. Am I a student of biology?
No, and you knew the answer.
That's right. You asked me, well, what does cyto mean? And I thought, so it has to do with cells, doesn't it? And I don't know where that came from. It was just background knowledge. And then toxic, something that's toxic to the cells. You read, you get context, and boom, there it is. And that's with, like a college class in biology, just freshman level biology. And then just whatever I have read and picked up in science magazines, books, and things like that since.
Yeah. And so he's going to go to the Wikipedia to look it up. and he's got a degree in biology. I don't know.
Just to try to steel man, or at least account for that possibility, he could have been, didactic, going through a didactic motion where he's just, being an example of doing the thing that you're talking about.
Here you go. Icarus, psi and phi. Okay. This is not phi. This is phi.
Yep.
Okay. Now Sal knows. Yeah, Sal learned something.
I wish I could remember my Hebrew alphabet. That's the one that I have let go to the wayside. And they actually have like Sesame Street episodes where they go through the Hebrew alphabet. So I should be able to sing it, but I can't.
Yeah. So then, and I got a few things to say about brain damage and alcoholism.
We need to find out what the hippocampus. So sometimes if you Google something like this, some ventricular zone, you may not find anything. But what I think you can do is just go to this here, like the hippocampus.
Hippocampus. Anyway, yeah, that's an innocent mistake. I shouldn't make fun of him for that one, but it's hippocampus. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but the thing is, we all know what a hippopotamus is.
Yeah,
and it's pronounced hippo. There was a preacher / bishop named Augustine of Hippo. There was two different Augustines, but one of them was Augustine of Hippo, and HIPPO. So, and when you look at it, and I can see it looking at there, a hippocampus, maybe reading on the screen or whatever.
Hippocampus.
But he pronounces it hypocamus.
Yeah.
And so he pronounces two things about it wrong consistently throughout that whole paper with
Right.
it right there in front of him.
Right there, he should have stopped reading the paper because he's not
Yeah.
prepared to read the paper.
And so I don't know. I don't want to excoriate anybody too hard for that. It was a definite distraction.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see what else.
We're just learning terminology. I'm kind of showing how to read through a peer-reviewed paper. And if you have no background, I'm just showing you how I do it and how difficult it can be, just so you don't get discouraged, don't get intimidated. Because we have the tools of Google,
excuse.
You're able to, you can read it.
Oh, he was mispronouncing hippocampus so that people out there who really can't pronounce it won't feel bad.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, I get it. Okay. Well, I guess.
Yeah, Benghazi. And hi, Lena, Icarus, Stephanie, Benghazi, Secular Pagan Mom. Who else is here? Woolly Ignorant.
We have Lena.
Sure, yeah, Lena's
Eric,
here.
Eric 311.
Eric's here. Eric was here early.
Oh, don't tell me Nerdy isn't here. Is Nerdy Rodin out there?
Oh, no, Nerdy's not here. What are we going to do for Joe?
We have to stop and back up. We cannot do this without Nerdy Rodin.
Yeah, what are we going to do for comedic content?
I don't know.
Yeah, and then
hey, Skywork.
Run into this.
I need to touch a little bit on biology. And I just kind of got a little irritated with some people. One individual who's
wait a minute, is he talking about my people?
I don't know. Maybe does he provide more context, more information?
Just telling falsehoods about biology regarding my zinc finger presentation. So this is a little bit
who that is.
Just exploring zinc fingers more in detail so that we can understand it.
Has Joel Duff talked about zinc fingers or anything?
I don't think so. Maybe he had some.
Has Dr. Dan talked about zinc fingers?
I don't know. I think I'm kind of the only one.
Yeah, so I don't know. And then he brings up this alcoholism paper. But anyway.
Yeah, okay, then what do we have here?
Hippocampus. So that's
he's still saying
maybe that's
wrong.
about all that I can digest for today on this. I learned maybe 3 terms today: the hippocampus, the subventricular zone, and the dentate gyrus. And that sometimes, guys, that's just about all you can.
And you learn cytotoxic. Anyway, okay, so let's see. I linked a video, and I want to show this guy. This is not for everybody because this gets into some pretty heavy. Like this guy actually takes cadavers and flips them around and does things with them, and he's got somebody's stomach and he turns it inside out and all that stuff, and he talks about alcohol.
Well, yeah, I love that channel. I love it so much.
Yep, Institute of Human Anatomy.
Yeah, they did a thing on the spinal cord, and showed the spinal cord and the stuff around it.
Yeah, this
is a great channel.
Did you see this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Look at this. This is what happens to you when you have a hangover.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this guy does a really good job, and I link this in the description because I think if you watch this before you go out on Saturday night to have a few drinks, you probably won't drink as much. Mm-hmm. After he talks about all the different things that happen to your poor goddamn body. And there's some of the images. That's your liver, which is a pretty big.
As I recall on that video, he flipped that liver around a lot. It kind of
did flip that liver.
It was unsettling.
It was unsettling, yeah. But that's a pretty damn good video on alcohol. But now here's the thing. Alcohol, they call it Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome, right? And it's called wet brain. And it used to be a thing back in the Bowery days, like when there were a lot of people living on the streets and drinking. And there were a number of people that entered mental institutions who had really burnt their fucking brain out pretty badly on alcohol to a point where it was not recoverable. And when I first got into AA in 1974, I heard about a few of these people from like the 50s and stuff that were, had actually destroyed their brains on alcohol. But now, you people who are not alcoholics, you got the fucking stupidest ideas about alcoholics. Now, a lot of alcoholics don't really drink chronically, right? They'll drink on weekends. Or,
that's the idea of functional alcoholic.
Right. And fuck their lives up as a result of it. And that's still alcoholism. And you have to drink 50 units or more a week, which is something like 8 beers a day for 4 days, and then what you're going to end up with is your hippocampus is going to, and they don't understand how this works yet, because for some reason in this country, even though alcohol is on every street corner, this country does not do a lot of research into the effects of alcohol molecularly on the brain. We do know a few things. The alcohol molecule affects receptors, and apparently it has some effect on a zinc finger, which is what Sal is talking about here. Not on the zinc finger itself, but somewhere in that stream, and has an effect on neurogenesis in the hippocampus. Now, your hippocampus, hang on a second here, I gotta straighten something out. Cough up a hairball. Anyway, your hippocampus is one of two places in your brain where neurons are basically created. Where neurons actually divide, and you can end up with new neurons. There are neuronal stem cells in your hippocampus. And what they found, like in London, they had this big experiment where they measured the hippocampus of a bunch of taxi drivers prior to training. And in London, to be a taxi cab driver, you have to know every single street in London. And and then they checked them out after they memorized all those streets, and they found out that their hippocampus was extremely fat. and that's just it's just above your ears. That's where it exists. But they got a fat hippocampus, right? From learning stuff. Now, the thing about alcohol, when you're actively using alcohol and for about 6 weeks after, your neurogenesis will slow down to a degree. But now I looked around, and there's apparently the myth of alcohol killing brain cells is just that, a myth.
Yeah, ever since elementary school, that's what teachers and everybody would tell me. And this was from back in the 70s, that whenever you drank alcohol, you killed a certain number of your brain cells.
Right.
And then I remember, like, when I got to be just maybe around slightly before illegal drinking age, you pull back a beer and go, here's just some dead brain cells, and pour them back. And that was the thing, is that you are killing brain cells every time you drink alcohol.
Right. Oh, I better get rid of this image.
Yeah, I want some onions.
Oh, no, the image is even worse. Okay, we'll go back to
stomach.
Okay, yeah, that was the stomach. But anyway, now there's two things about this. Alcohol is extremely damaging if you drink more than 1 beer an hour. And it does do damage to your body, to your pancreas, to your stomach, to your intestines, to your liver, to your brain, to everything. But your body is extremely resilient, and it will basically come back. Okay, Danny, citation required. How does it damage neurons? Anyway, so it's kind of like, I mean, I want to mediate that idea that it kills brain cells directly, but it does basically slow down neurogenesis if you drink chronically, if you drink more than 50 units of alcohol a week. And I guess that's, I think that amounts to, I don't know, like 30 beers or something like that, more than a case of beer a week. If you drink that much, you probably got a fucking problem, of some sort. But anyway, so all my time in AA, almost 50 years now, I've never run into another person in any AA meeting anywhere, sober alcoholics who has brain damage or any evidence of brain damage. So it isn't something you see every day. Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome is kind of a rare syndrome. And I think, I don't know, there might be a lot less of it now than there was back in the day, or during the Great Depression, when people were really, we had Bowery drunks sitting on the street corners.
Well, plus the there would be contamination in the alcohol, wouldn't there? Wouldn't they have some kinds of alcohol or chemicals in there that you really don't want to be ingesting no matter what?
Yeah.
Yeah, wood grain and all that.
And then the other thing with alcohol and alcoholism is everybody processes alcohol slightly differently physiologically. It turns into acetaldehyde, and some people turn it into acetaldehyde very quickly. My mother was that kind of a person, and she couldn't drink at all. And she was Irish, and she would just get flushed. People get really flushed, and I guess there's a whole population of people in Asia. And I'm not sure if it's Japan or wherever, but they have that flush syndrome because of genetics, where they can't drink at all because they just get extremely uncomfortable. They'll start sweating and get hot and all sorts of stuff. But, it does do damage to your body, and you shouldn't drink it chronically. After watching this video by this anatomy guy, I wouldn't drink at all. I mean, ever. It's just like, fuck. If I'd watched this when I was 6 years old, I probably wouldn't have become an alcoholic, because it would have scared the shit out of me. just seeing what it does. But so many myths about alcoholism, and that's one of them. But anyway, I don't know. It's my. I'm not sure. Sal thinks my brain is damaged.
Yeah, that's what he's trying to say. Which, if there's anything at all true about plasticity of your neurons and your brain,
right?
The amount of cognitive exercise you've gotten over the decades is so much compensating for any loss you might have had. It's not like it was like that picture of the brain of an alcoholic versus the brain of a non-alcoholic. It's not like
that turns out to be
being an alcoholic in the sense of consuming. You have exercised your brain probably 100 times more than most people over that time. So yeah, he's just taking cheap shots because you are providing a foil to his
zinc fingers.
Yeah, to the zinc finger argument that somehow this means intelligent design.
Yeah, I can't. Okay, this is the paper that they get, or the picture that they keep pulling up every time they show an alcoholic brain. And I'm guessing that this is a person that has chronic Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome, probably 50, 60 years old, maybe 70 years old, who actually ended up with damage to the axons, to the wiring of the neurons, right? So that his brain actually shrunk. And whether or not that's from alcohol, and I can't find any paper that supports this. There are papers that show basically that your white matter can become damaged after chronic alcohol use, but I think it's as rare as chronic. Well, that's the other thing. Those Bowery drunks, they used to drink methanol and antifreeze, which had methanol in it.
And of course, your vanilla extract.
Yeah, they called it squeeze, and they used to drink all kinds of toxic shit, and it was really, really pretty bad. Anyway, there are some people that end up with alcohol addiction, which happens pretty rapidly, and you can end up with delirium tremens, I think it is, and it's aggravated by stimulants, coffee particularly. You can go into it and have a seizure from it, so. But I mean, this is all bullshit. And, Sal could be right. I used to have an IQ of 180, and I'll be damned if I could test higher than 160 right now. But I still got 70 points on Sal. So fuck him.
Yeah, his innuendos and accusations are really off the point. He needs to show good science. Yeah. And when he opens his mouth too much, he kind of makes one feel that he doesn't know as much as he wants us to think he does.
Yeah.
And I'll just come out and say I know nothing. So
I know nothing. And then there's this famous.
I think it's a little embarrassing.
Goodell's incompleteness theorem here mentioned. No, so that's one book. A book on variational mechanics, variational calculus, including Lagrange and Hamiltonians. Does this mention Gödel's incompleteness theorem? And I looked, and I did look before I came on the show, so I'm not going to bother paging through it. No mention of it.
Can you tell me what is the concept?
Hey, sir, dude,
tell me what the proof is. You're just listing things.
You like have any defense except to interrupt me when I'm talking?
Yeah, I'd like you to tell me what
calculus, quantum mechanics. The only book there was quantum mechanics, not Gödel's.
You bought a book.
Those are Galileans, literary abstract algebra, and these are my
Nathan,
bro.
Nathan, you're not listening to what he's saying.
Gödel's incompleteness theorem there. And book of mathematical functions.
Nathan, I'll let you respond. Please be quiet.
Abrahamowitz and Stegen. No mention of Gödel's incompleteness theorem. Introduction to probability and applications. No mention of Gödel's incompleteness theorem. Mathematics and options trading. No mention of Gödel's theorem. Elementary numerical analysis. No mention of Gödel's incompleteness theorem. Electrical engineering. Laplace transform solving circuits. Differential equations. No mention of Gödel's incompleteness theorem. General relativity. Differential non-Euclidean geometry. No mention of Gödel's incompleteness theorem. Mathematical analysis by Apostle. No mention of Gödel's incompleteness theorem. Freshman calculus. No mention of Gödel's incompleteness theorem. Discrete mathematics. No mention of Gödel's incompleteness theorem. Mathematical structures. No mention of Gödel's incompleteness theorem. Introductory linear algebra. And on page 27 is identity matrices, which you asked me about. No mention of Gödel's incompleteness theorem. Linear algebra. No mention of Gödel's incompleteness theorem.
2 times
Contemporary
speed.
abstract algebra. No mention of Gödel's incompleteness theorem. So what was this point of me showing all this? Just because I didn't.
Yeah, what was the point? Anyway, I thought that was precious. My God, it lasts a long time, and that was 2 times speed, and that was hard to endure.
Well, the point was Nathan thought he should know something that he didn't know or didn't demonstrate technical knowledge of. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but there's a lot of textbooks about a lot of topics in math. And the question is,
Atheist
I don't know,
Junior.
is that a philosophy of science, philosophy of math kind of thing? Is it a metaphysical thing? This is where I wish Danny could chime in. Where does Gödel's incompleteness theorem fit
they're not
in
going
the scheme of
to
things?
they're not going to mention it, and you'll run into it in logic classes and things like that. And I went through an entire quarter of proving I think it was, I don't even remember what the fuck we were doing, but it was related to Gödel's incompleteness theorem, and that's all we did is prove this one theorem for the entire quarter, right? And I'll be fucked if I can remember it. So, what we had to do in order to prove it. So, anyway, so there's that. So I mean, that one, he should have known what it was, but Nathan asked him some tougher questions, like what form of the proof it was. And so I'd let him go on that one, but I won't let him go on R4 and identity matrices.
Right. And hippocampus. Come on.
Yep. Anyway.
By the way, Stephanie, you're right. I believe he planned it as well, because you just don't get you don't leave a stack of books like that lying around.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait.
Stephanie was right about something.
I think he went back and got them.
He chewed on that all night or for hours, and then he went and pulled all his books and said, "I'll show them." And I hope he went back and realized how sad that sounded.
Yeah, there's another part of that.
He did get under my skin, and then I said, I'm just not going to deal with that because it's not a productive conversation. He's attacking me personally, and there's no need to do that. I guess it just upset me that he would attack me.
It's from Blue, and it says, not knowing what vector spaces are is somewhat suspicious.
All right, Blue, why don't I read this to you? You're getting under my skin here.
I'll continue, especially for someone who claims to have studied mathematics or physics. I'm just trying to be objective in reading it out. Hey, Sal, are you wanting to debate with somebody on evolution? Because I know some people.
I'll be right back, Blue.
Well, what's going on?
I'll be right back, Blue. I'm going to go back. Well, wait a minute. Here's a toilet, and I need to go, so I'll be back in a couple of minutes.
I can't believe he's going to do this thing where he's going to pull out the books.
Randolph's voice makes me want to say, Randolph, if you can join us, I have sent you an email.
Oh, we could also put the link on.
I'll put the link out there too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we got some other stuff we want to cover. Let's see.
So, yes or no to the link?
Oh yeah, put it out there. Anyway, I had a talk with James Apperson on spirituality yesterday, and I thought it went rather well. And we talked about answers in atheism, basically answers in naturalism and spirituality, and what it means for a secular person. And it was a pretty good talk. And then we talked a bit about Christianity and why we find it offensive. And that it seems like in a lot of ways it's the opposite of spirituality, and that you're more concerned about yourself or the specialness of you and you're having to live forever and all that bullshit. And the whole thing really, I think, summed up a lot of really good ideas. So you putting Randolph in?
Yeah, Randolph's in, but I'm getting a little buffering circle from him, and he just dropped out. So
audio wasn't quite working.
He'll have to try again. He has to go put a quarter in the Wi-Fi machine.
So there's that, and I link that in our description, and I might premiere that on the channel here sometime this week, because I thought we talked about a lot of really great things, and James had some wonderful ideas.
Yeah, that was a good discussion. I was able to listen into it while I worked and occasionally make a comment. It motivated me to go meditate during my lunchtime.
Cool. And you talked about an experience that you had that was somewhere in chat, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. And just brought out a lot of good things. There's a whole lot that we need.
Man, I had trouble dragging you down through the pipeline there in Canada.
Finally got you.
Yeah, I don't have email on my phone. I check it when I feel that it's convenient for me. Otherwise, I'll never get anything done.
And you did your. Oh no! It's time to shoot her in the head.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, goodbye, everyone.
No, we're kidding.
Midnight's here.
So, how are you doing,
Hello,
Table
Midnight's
Man?
Hey, doing pretty good.
I was talking to Randolph. I use tables for websites, Richardson.
Oh.
That will never get old.
Okay, this is freezing up on me.
Oh,
Did you
really?
hear what I said?
No, apparently.
Well, hello, Midnight.
Hello.
I see you down there.
Sounds like a personal problem,
always
Randolph.
gives me trouble at the beginning of the connection.
And I see you, Zachary
I'm going to
Comstock.
Oh, he's coming back in.
You know what, Scott? You really should grow that beard a little longer and become Zachary Comstock.
Well, it seems to grow outward more than downward, which is weird.
I'm going to let you do it, Scott.
Oh, let him in?
Yep.
Because my internet works better than your internet?
Let me in. That was a chilling movie.
It's actually not my internet. There's some issue with StreamYard.
Yeah, there is a lot of issues.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, yeah. The issue with
Everything else-
StreamYard is that it let me in. Oh.
Well, I think StreamYard uses all of your resources, and then they go up to their server and use all of their resources and then send it back down. And they use resources at every fucking, stage of the game, and it's just kind of bad.
Yep. That way they save a lot of money.
Yeah, they don't use them well.
So I love all of you.
Looks like you have a real good friend in the side chat here.
Who, me?
Yeah. Kick Midnight.
Ooh.
Oh.
Don't do that. That's not nice.
Well, we're going to kick GER is what we're going to do, because GER gives you cancer.
What?
I thought cancer gives you cancer.
Now I'm going to put the link down again. I'm going to put the link down again so that maybe Atheist Junior could come in and talk about that debate.
I think I'm going to have to look up Germania and cancer in PubMed then.
Yeah, there's an actual code for Germania-induced cancer and Germania-induced sexually transmitted diseases. You can actually
wrong with you?
You can actually get them without sex just by watching his stream. That's what I've heard. I don't know if it's true.
Your dog told you. Got it.
Yeah. something like that. So there was a debate last night between Atheist Jr., Snake was right, and Bubblegum Gum. I don't know what his name.
Yeah.
And John Maddox.
Yeah, and John Maddox.
Maddox. Quantum John.
Merle Karks is here. Anyway, so there was, but so Bubblegum Dumb went off on this fucking weird tangent where he was kind of claiming that dogs did not come from wolves, which isn't really, the young earthers all believe that they came from wolves, right? And I think Atheist Jr. and Snake were a little confused by that because they couldn't quite figure out what he was fucking trying to say. And he showed a picture of what was it? He had some picture up here. Was it a griffin or something? Oh, he had this picture, and they were arguing that this was. Oh my God! What have I done? What have I done? Oh, that this was basically a phylogenetic tree, right? And he was pointing at the nodes, right? And so they have all of the extant dog species, and they have like one node at the and like I don't know. It just didn't make any sense.
Now my understanding is that dogs are descendants of gray wolf or something. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they were, they were bred. And then he was going on about turning a Chihuahua into a Doberman or into a, and it's like, okay, no, you just don't even begin to understand how the fuck all this would work.
This was one of the funniest moments in the debate. I actually laughed out loud when I saw this picture. And I was like, oh, God, where's Andrew coming? Because this guy has absolutely no understanding of phylogeny. This is laughably bad.
Yeah,
laughably bad.
Look at those nodes. Look at the node. And it's like, no, that's, oh, my God. So, I mean,
Leo, you're laughably bad.
If you wanted to really show a picture of the phylogeny of dog breeds, you would have to go back, do a lot of historical research. You would end up with a much more complicated looking tree than that. I'm not sure what they started with St. Bernards. But then, like, if you want to turn a Chihuahua back into like a gray wolf or something, you'd probably have to crossbreed them with a couple other breeds, and you'd reestablish kind of the basic, the basic genome but it would be difficult,
every time an Uber Eats driver comes to my door, my Chihuahua, who's actually a Chiweenie, turns into a wolf. So you don't have to worry about that.
And then he shows this wolf Dalmatian with a griffin in the middle.
What? Yeah, what the fuck was this? And then AJ Hippogriff.
Is that because Snake was right? Was in the debate? That's 3 points for Slytherin.
Who knows? Oh my God, Randolph, that's a good one.
Very good.
I couldn't resist.
And then they went on John Maddox's channel and they were talking about how they just obliterated him. Well, AJ and Snake looked kind of confused because like they weren't ready for the kind of dumb that.
Well, I think it's that Bubble was denying things like some of the most mainstream creationists are willing to accept.
Right.
And they were just like, wait, what? And the way, and I do kind of get where Maddox and BGG were coming from with, well, this is evolution on trial, so we don't need to necessarily defend creationism. They are technically correct when they say that. It wasn't an evolution versus creation debate. It was an evolution on trial. However, and that's where Snake's comment right there comes into play, Snake asked them basic questions about evolution and said, okay, evolution on trial. Well, I've explained how evolution accounts for this. Do you have some other model that can do that as parsimoniously? And they just refused to engage. So while they were correct in pointing out that they don't necessarily need to defend specifically creation, they still refused to actually respond to the defenses that were provided in favor of evolution.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I could only watch so much. I just had to quit.
You're a quitter, Speed.
I'm a quitter. Okay, so I've got one other. Okay, stupid whore. I hope I can call you that.
Energy, stupid whore, energy.
Get it right. That's
We
what
don't address people,
No. When I
male or
love
female, as stupid whore.
No, when I love people, I like to shorten their names a little bit as a, basically a token of, my
Just go.
affection.
Or
Yeah, I'm always
stew.
confused about it. I'm always confused. Okay,
Stewie.
SWE. Anyway, I did link all that in the description. I'm just about to put another one in there, which is where this all started, and it was on S.J. Thomason's channel. And
Speaking of S.J. Thomason, I actually had an interesting conversation with her off air.
Oh, really?
Me and her are supposed to have a discussion on Marxism later this fall, but I doubt that it's going to happen. Not because of me.
Oh my God, Leo, your Twitter thing was just... you just reminded me. That was funny.
Reminded you of what?
You reminded me when
you remind me of who I really am.
It's what I really am, but no, you reminded me of when you challenged her on Twitter, and I was like, "Careful, Leo." You know that.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not saying she's dumb when it comes to like business and stuff, but she's not an economist.
Neither are you.
You're right. I don't proclaim to be, though.
There you go.
And I certainly hope there aren't other people proclaiming me to be an economist. And I would suspect that you guys know that if there were, I would shut that down the same way I shut down people proclaiming me to be a physicist, because I am not.
Hey, Midnight.
Yes.
You're not an economist. So
I know.
So there.
I mean, I'm not anything. I'm not even human. Albinos are not human. Therefore, Randolph isn't human. Wait, he's not an albino.
Oh, you've internalized that hatred. I'm so sorry.
Well, no, I mean, Randolph is human, but he's got some Valyrian in there somewhere. Look at that. Look at the color of that hair.
Yeah.
That's silvery
Valyrian.
white. Yeah, he's got some Valyrian in there.
Valyrian. I'm gonna have to look that up. Now. That's a new term.
It's a Game of Thrones, a Song of Ice and Fire realm.
Oh, okay.
His commode is made of butter knives.
Butter knives.
Yeah. Well, you can't afford all those swords, so.
Well, the thing is, Snake, that's where you should have gotten more into like some of the epistemological basis for evolution, because I do think evolution, if we take the normative epistemological priors and even the metaphysical priors and even the priors that are utilized in the philosophy of science, obviously evolution would win out over, well, not just specifically creationism, but anything else. So you should have just hammered them. Okay, look, you want to deny our use of particular priors, then what priors are you using? And if this isn't a discussion about priors, then you're not using a Bayesian statistical framework. Then what kind of statistical framework are you using?
I'm thinking about priors, like in prior convictions.
Well, no, like priors, priors that factor into like a Bayesian argument.
Yeah, I know. Hey,
Hello,
Snake was right.
Snake. That was quite the debate you guys had.
I got to tune in and watch that. I was busy last night.
Hold on. Something's wrong with my mic.
And I think Mr. Maddox went off on his programming analogies or whatever, which are pretty weak. And he's talking about PHP and using a sign-on form and stuff like that, and how God would have done it that way. You would have just.
Who cares what programming language it is?
Right.
Okay, hold on.
God would have went to GitHub, and he would have he would have gotten a link to that particular genetic algorithm, right? And he would have put it in like lions and tigers and bears.
Oh my!
Oh my!
Such bullshit.
Hold on. Oh, Tangelo, gee. The tree of life is a faith-based claim, so universal common ancestry. Like, Jesus.
I don't know what that means. What is that even supposed to mean?
The tree of life is
All right. Is my mic working now?
Yes, you sound great.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's not faith-based. It's unless microevolution is faith-based too, because it's the same methodology.
Shit. Okay.
Boom. Don't bait a debater, Otangelo. You'll get your southern region, shall we call it, handed to you.
Yeah, the main point I was trying to do, at least in my opening, was that the distance between like transitional forms and what they're supposedly transitioning between is smaller than the accepted diversity within a kind, So, using the same methodology as you use to establish a kind, transitional forms bridge the kinds.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, I actually, excuse me. Jesus Christ. I really like the point that you were bringing up with transitional forms, just because that's a point that is so mischaracterized. It's absolutely caricatured by creationists, which they both are. I mean, we all know that both of them are creationists, so.
Yeah. Bubblegum just goes a little farther, I guess.
Yeah, that he is something different. I don't.
Hey, Snake, I just followed you on Twitter.
Woo!
You just now followed Snake on Wow.
Yeah, I just
Yeah,
followed.
you probably haven't even subscribed to his YouTube channel yet, have you, Dick? Yeah. See. Yeah. Asshole.
Well, here's one for you, Leo. Subscribe to a university. How about that?
I plan on it at some point. I'm just not ready yet. So I'm going to do something I ain't ready for.
Snake. I haven't been on Twitter in months, but I'll try and get back on there.
You're not missing much. Just the usual toxicity hasn't changed.
Hey, I'm not toxic, Randolph.
Where did they get this phylogenetic tree that he showed? Did he make?
I don't know.
Did he make that? I mean, that I've never seen anything quite this dumb before.
I'm gonna try and have him on Debate Cafe to debate whether dogs are created or not.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
If any of you guys want to take it on.
Oh my God.
If dogs are created, they are above angels.
Yeah.
Okay.
God
so
is
stick that in your hierarchy.
God is the programmer because God is in all programmers. All humans are programming the moral. Right? What, Stephanie? Again, I don't even know. What?
Of course you
genes
don't.
Contain genes. Okay. Otangelo is allergic to information. Miles Davis. Otangelo G. Genes contain instructional assembly information and operational information. There is no dispute about that.
It's funny because he's never defined what he means by instructional assembly information.
Oh, you got a blueprint, and then you look at the blue. You create a baby.
Well, the thing is, Sinister Porpoise is like getting degrees in like software engineering and like computer technology and stuff related. I don't remember the specifics, but like computer science, computer engineering, software technology, stuff like that. Has even said like when these guys say, information, just ask them what do you mean by information? Because there isn't like some monolithic definition for what information is. There's a variety of different usages for that term, and when they say, so I mean, there is a sense in which there is information in the genetic code, but what kind of information is it that they're talking about?
Well, Leo, I have a question.
And we actually got John.
You're a young man, so you probably don't know this, but I have 3 kids. And what I did is I got a blueprint out and I jumped into bed and I made those kids. Based on that, that blueprint.
That sounds
That's
so
okay.
Well, I mean, you're not saying necessarily like wrong things right now. I mean, there is information in the genetic code, but what that's going to mean. The thing is, when you're in computational biology, the thing that I don't think these people realize is that we use computational systems and structures to represent the systems and structures and functions in biology. They're not like equivalent or identical to each other, and that's the thing they don't understand. We're using computational biology uses computational methods to represent and understand biological systems, structures, and functions.
Hey, Leo, learn the basics according to Otangelo.
I wanted to say something.
Hey,
yeah, this is the thing. Like people who just respond that way are demonstrating they don't understand the field. What basics do I need to learn? Point me, like if he had any idea what he was talking about, he would just say, "Hey, Leo, you should check out the book such and such that was written by so and so. It kind of talks on these things, and he says this, that, and the other. You might be interested in that." But notice how like people like LPP and Otangelo never do that because they don't fucking read any of the literature in any of these subjects. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Okay, Snake, you wanted to say something? Are you back on yet?
Speed of sound.
Yeah, can you hear me?
With the blueprints used, were they in pink or baby blue?
Well, a little of each. It depends.
I have a
Yeah, Snake. Okay, Snake, to say something. And I overtalked
Yeah, I
him.
was. Yeah, I was just gonna say that we got John to admit that actually re-scrambling existing information actually does create new information if it has a different
He
function.
has to admit that. At least if he wants to claim to understand anything about the theory of
Yeah.
computation.
Yeah, so he admitted that whole point. I mean, I consider that a win just from that.
Well, he was doubling down on his. You were trying to talk to him about a change in regulation, right? Which would be a mutation, basically, that would use some of the same genes to do different things or whatever. And he was doubling down on this bullshit about using a sign-on form in PHP or something. I don't know. Anyway, and
he goes off on the most
he didn't seem
random
to get what-
rails.
So I do have.
Yeah,
a
he was
question.
trying to say the same function on a different
Okay.
system or something.
Go ahead, Midnight.
I have a question for you, Leo. Do you think that information is physical?
Yes, I think in almost all instances of information, I think that there can be certain, probably rather esoteric, philosophical or metaphysical senses in which the term information could be used, in which it might be non-physical. But I don't think anybody in computer technology, computation, or information theory or science, anybody in physics, anybody in biology or neuroscience is going to consider, any of the relevant people, that is, are going to consider information to be a non-physical thing. And in fact, Claude Shannon himself did not consider it non-physical.
So it is.
Nor does Rolf Landauer, who was another pioneer in that field.
Memory
Well,
can be
just-
physical.
I mean, I just wanted to say, information is physical. Yet when you look at a computer file, if you look at an image on the computer, right? Like the information that's being used to represent that image is physical, but the image itself isn't. That's really
I would say
that really
that it is.
fascinates me.
I would say that it is, but that's because I'm an emergentist. It's much like, so the image is not anything over and above the information theoretic processes that give rise to it. So if that's all that the image is, if it isn't actually anything over and above that, then if those aspects are physical, then the image is physical. And I think the same thing with the mind with respect to the brain. The mind is not anything over and above the functions and processes that the brain engages in. So if those functions and processes are physical, then so is the mind.
Well, yeah, I do I do see your point. Just a lot of people make a distinction between the physical and the digital on the computer. Like the image we see or like in the computer or like on you know what I mean. It really gets trippy. Like what you get down to.
Here's where it gets trippy. Okay, the information on the screen is physical. Okay, and the photons are physical, and your eyes are physical, and your brain is physical, and you are fucking physical, but the information isn't.
No shit. It makes no sense.
There.
No, I'm not. To be clear, I'm not disagreeing with anything you guys are saying. Okay, I just find it amazing. I just find it's like, well, wait a minute. I know. I can't hold the image on the screen unless I print it. Yet,
exactly.
What I'm looking at is physical. Like,
it's the same. A good analogy is economies. Like, how much does an economy weigh? Like that question doesn't really even make sense. Are we really going to sit here and say economies aren't physical? That they don't consist in the interactions and the relations between a large set of agents as they exchange commodities on some sort of market? Like,
well,
yes, economies are physical, and this is where the concept of emergence comes from in metaphysics.
Yeah. But if you really want to get technical, economies are a form of social reality.
Yes, they're social structures.
Yeah, psychology
but I don't
for
think
the win.
it's fair to say they're non-physical. And even if they were non-physical, they consist in the physical. And I think that that's just enough to establish that they are physical.
Oh, by the way, Jason had a video yesterday, which I linked in the description. Jason versus presuppositional.
Is information active?
That was actually
what
a really
the fuck
good
does that
discussion
even mean?
they had.
Wait, hold on. Is information active? What?
What do we mean by active
I
here?
don't
mean,
even.
See, why is it
I'm with you. I'm with you. Like, what the fuck do you mean by active?
Why do they use such vague terminology? I don't get it. Like, what does that mean?
They do that so they can adapt their argument depending on the response.
You know what, Randolph? You're completely correct.
That's why your question was right on the mark. What do they mean by active?
Yeah.
And that's why I like to ask those questions about meaning. A lot of people think it's being pedantic, but when you realize that there's a lot of people out there that use rather vague terminology, you begin to understand why it's important to say, okay, you use this term. I usually frame it as there's several ways I could understand what this term means. Would you be willing to specify how you mean it? And that way they don't feel like you're just trying to be pedantic. It sounds more like you're genuinely trying to understand, which I mean, I am genuinely trying to
do it.
Understand.
Yeah. I think that's a really good way to do it.
I found this wonderful video on Snake Was Right's channel.
He's got some good videos on his channel.
Yeah.
Everybody should go to Snake Was Right.
I like Snake Was Right a lot. Why do you think I enjoyed the debate that I had with him? Because he's fun and interesting to engage with, and he's somebody that actually understands the topics he's talking about.
Thank you, Leo. That means a lot to me.
Talking about him like he's not here.
So you say. Those are just rumors.
Yeah, I just heard those one time in a bar. I don't know if they're true, you know.
Yeah.
Shit, what do I know?
That's hearsay.
Objection, Your Honor.
Did you have an after show too, Snake? Or no, that was just LPP
No.
that had.
I had to go.
I wouldn't know what the hell to even do with an analysis of that debate. I don't.
Actually,
Yeah, half the time John would like forget what he started off talking about and end with like a completely different question.
Oh my God! And the way he talks, that pseudo intellectual fucking dialogue.
LPP.
I know he doesn't talk that way because I've listened to him in interviews about business topics from years ago.
If you meant to say diatribe, I think you were right the first time.
Didn't he get rained on by sprinklers somehow during that debate or something?
Oh, is that what happened?
That's seriously what happened.
Suddenly he like stood up and closed his laptop real quick.
Yeah, the lawn sprinklers actually came up through the bench he was standing on.
He went to stream in public park to be all badass, but forgot they have sprinklers.
God's looking out for him.
Oh, shit, that's just too fucking funny.
In his favor, he thought it was funny too, I think so.
Okay, well, yeah, fair enough.
Well, it is.
Laugh at himself there.
Diet Tribe, Benghazi. Diet
That's the
Tribe.
thing. I don't think LPP
Tribe.
is a bad person, but I definitely think he puts on an act on the internet. I do, unfortunately.
I mean,
What
is what it is.
A nice person.
I'm on a diet tribe. That's my new picture.
It's just sad because if so many of these guys would just drop young Earth creationism, they'd actually have like reasonably decent arguments.
Yeah.
Like still, I would object to them, but they would be a lot better argument. You know, you'd be dealing with something a bit more substantive.
Okay, they wouldn't have a way. They wouldn't have a way to inject themselves into our culture with the political platform they're promoting. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So they've got to come up with this conspiracy theory that all scientists are idiots. And we happened upon the real evidence that which they got from the abstracts of those very scientists that they're calling idiots.
Well, they legitimately think that it's the best way to prove God is to disprove literally all the sciences.
Okay, but I think it's even deeper
And they
than
want
that. I think they want to come up with this idea that it's them against the world, so that we can all become MAGA Trump supporters and become a Christian theocracy, and it's all connected with them to this YEC
David
stuff. And I think
Goliath.
YEC is just a vehicle. It's just one of their many bullshit vehicles. You got to watch these.
I think Snake is on something. They want to just be like, oh, well, it's either God or it's science. But then so many of them want to talk about how God and science aren't at odds and that science supports their position while at the same time denying all of the merits and methodologies science uses. It's interesting.
Yeah, that is Sal Cordova's big thing, that he's going to prove
Leo,
the Earth.
I'm curious. I'm curious how you would react to Otangelo G's comment that scientists are not idiots, but naturalism is an idiotic worldview.
Well, I would just ask, what's the art? What does he mean by when he says it's idiotic? Is he saying that like it makes statements
it's derogatory?
Like what I don't know what that means. See, it's just ambiguous terminology because he's not trying to provide a reasoned response to something. He's just trying to be inflammatory, and he doesn't really have a reasoned response.
Right.
And so he's just going to replace that with inflammatory language.
So Otangelo G is pointing out that the scientific method was invented by a Christian. Yeah, whoop-de-doo. A lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Created by
This is like saying that
Christians.
because most of the men who developed quantum theory were Germans, that therefore quantum theory is a German thing. No, it's not how it works.
Or Leo, the other thing I can't say because YouTube is crazy.
What? What?
Never mind.
What do you mean by crazy?
What are you telling me?
Children of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
No.
That's the one.
There you go. It's in a private chat. I don't feel like saying
Because
it.
naturalism has no mechanism except like the standard model of elementary particles and physics and chemistry and biology and all the other things that it uses all the time to describe how things work. So like I don't understand.
Naturalism isn't a model though. It's the model that needs a mechanism, right?
Yeah, naturalism is a broader metaphysical view.
Yeah.
What we would need to do is provide models for how it explains certain features of the world, which it does. That's what science is.
I think Otangelo had too much word salad for lunch, and now he's kind of regurgitating it.
Naturalism? Oh my goodness. God with no
Okay,
age.
so that killed the chat. Sorry, guys. It sounded funny in my head.
Replaces a god with no agent. That's not, except we know of things that aren't agents, that are mechanisms, like electromagnetism, like gravity, like everything studied by physics and chemistry and all of natural science and philosophy. This is not a difficult concept. This is just weird to me.
I don't know. It's almost like it's like 3 a.m. where Otangelo is, and he's just falling asleep and trying to talk at the same time. I don't know, but it's about the same time as now in Brazil, right?
I don't know, honestly.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going on with him.
So for some reason, Germania linked my video the other day about him hating puppies. I don't know if he still hates puppies.
Germania?
Germania. He linked the
Get off
video
our channel.
Yeah.
We don't tolerate puppy haters here.
Yeah, puppy haters are bad. Oh, wait a minute. What is he
We do, if you prefer kittens, that's one thing. But it's puppy haters, no.
I think he's got a clip. I don't know what he linked exactly. It's weird. It's a weird thing.
Midnight, what have you been studying lately?
Psychology, reading a bit of The Hidden Reality by Brian Greene. Love it, by the way. The inflationary theory, the landscape, the landscape multiverse, all that good stuff.
Well,
all that
in
good
terms
stuff.
of psychology, what have you been focusing on?
Table making?
What?
In terms of psychology, what have you been focusing on?
No. I know. I was. Fuck you, Randolph. Okay. No table, you fucking dick. But let's see. In psychology, I have been reading this book called, entitled 7.5 Lessons About the Brain. It's been very interesting. The first half lesson talks about this creature called what?
I see it.
You gotta watch the screen, man. There was a comment there just now.
Okay,
I didn't put it up.
Okay, Speed, don't fuck with me and put the comment back.
No.
It was from Jason Torn.
Let's see. Okay.
Well, I guess you guys didn't really want to know what I was doing, so okay.
No, we want to know what you're doing.
Best. Hold on.
We were distracted.
Hold on.
Interesting
Fuck
what
you.
you were
I just saw it. Jason, yes, I can read. Okay. And Benghazi, yes, I have. Okay. So fuck all of you. Click leaving. I just noticed the fucking comments. Like, fuck you. What the fuck?
I think they're just trying to get you to swear more.
Well, you know what? It's working.
Tell us about the book. The psychology book.
Midnight
That's
can read.
interesting.
What are femboys? Angelo, you're not ready for that conversation. What are femboys? Okay.
Yeah,
Leave
no,
us with
Atangelo is definitely not ready for that.
Yeah.
He does no. He's too Christian for that discussion.
Jesus Christ.
So Gur has a clip he wants us to show. I'm sure it'll.
Oh
So okay, we're
What's
not
going on
saying.
for RPP?
What about a PP? Why are you talking about your PP, dude?
What the fuck? I'm not sure what he's talking about.
I'm not doing this.
I don't know. It's a Gur clip.
Yeah, that's Gur disguised as LPP for some reason.
Anyway, yeah, I got all excited because I thought John was coming onto our stream, but no, he disappointed me once again. It was just Gur, puppy hater.
Why is that disappointing? That's actually an improvement on John Maddox.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Anyway, I keep imagining that it would be possible to have a conversation with that man, but I don't know. I don't know if it really is possible. Certainly not on his channel, and certainly not with the hours that he keeps. Anyway, wow, quite wrong. Huh?
He goes off on weird tangents. I debated with him on Modern Debate a while ago, and the topic was about skepticism and atheism, and he spent the first 20 minutes to half an hour copying Steve McCrae's defective arguments on what atheism is. It was bizarre.
Yep. Yeah, he's a piece
Totally
of
wasted
work.
his time in the debate. Didn't address the topic at all.
Yeah. There was something we ran across, Scott, about.
Google it. No, Benghazi. No, Angelo, do not Google femboys, please. Do not Google femboys.
Why don't Angelo even know what femboys are? By the way, Angelo, no, I don't like femboys because I don't like boys. I like British women.
Yeah.
No,
Apparently, I like short, dumpy women. I don't know.
Does Leo like
Yeah.
femboys? No, that's me.
Yeah, Robert C. We were talking about the debate and we linked it. If you just
So you were asking me a question, Speed?
yeah, there was something about beliefs that I ran across, like the formation of beliefs and how problematic belief can be, and I don't know.
I don't recall.
Problematic for what?
For politics is one thing in this country right now.
You guys asked me a question as to what I was studying, but you guys didn't let me answer it. That was pretty rude.
I think we thought you did answer it.
I was trying to answer, but then you guys were laughing at the comment, and then I went to go look at the comments, and I noticed that Jason is like, Midnight can read, and then Benghazi said, "Oh, Midnight likes femboys," or whatever. It just, I don't know, but it was funny.
Exploded from there.
Anyways,
my son
I was actually interested in what you were saying about the books. Psychology is an interesting topic.
Yes, I'm reading a book. I mean, I read the entire thing. It was short. It's 7.5 lessons about the brain. I forget to.
By the way, there were hemorrhages, not aneurysms.
Thanks, Leo.
So this is current research, I take it.
What?
Yeah, I think it was it was written in this year or last year.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Well, basically, in the half lesson, she talks about how 550 million years ago there was this creature called Amphorexy. I can never pronounce the goddamn name. It's big, it basically amounts to like a walking stomach, right? It's just it has no sense of taste, it has no sense of smell. It's got ways of detecting light, but it can't see. It moves through the ocean, using gill-like things around it. It does have a clump of cells which kind of acts like a brain, quote unquote, and that controls this like this like spinal cord like thing to to help it move. It does hanker down. It does hanker down at the bottom of the ocean, and it acts like grass, right? It waves back and forth, but it captures. God damn its feet, and it captures. It captures creatures that it captures creatures that that swim by it. Now the interesting thing is that during. Go ahead.
How does it capture them?
It just stands there and just waits for the creatures to pass it by, to pass really close by.
So it's like a flesh.
It's a living trap.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Like a lot of scientists believe.
And the fish fall for it?
Well, there's fish, of course.
Yeah, it's the dumb fish.
Yeah, a lot of scientists.
I'd be like, that ain't grass. That you trying to fuck with me? That looks like a goddamn astroturf. That ain't grass. Get out of here.
A lot of scientists say that that these things are cousins and they still exist, right? They still exist in the oceans. 500 million years later, during the Cambrian period, hunting appeared on Earth. Right? Obviously, creatures creatures ate each other before that, but it's like now there was intent, right? Like the Cambrian period gave rise to predators and prey, like to where like one drew the evolution of the other. The book is very fascinating. I do suggest you read it.
So, what's the name of the book? And
what?
What's the name of the book and the author?
7 something of the brain.
7.5 lessons of the brain. Just look for the title and you'll find the author. She also wrote a book, How Emotions Are Made.
Okay.
How emotions are made.
Yep.
7.5 lessons about the brain. Oh, there's 2 different pictures of it. Well, one has a pretty picture and the other one doesn't have a pretty picture. Which one is the second edition? Or
Well, it could be like a British versus American edition.
Okay. Let's have a look at that. Okay. Oh no, it's only $7.38. Oh my God. Add to basket. Let me see. Oh, that's 8 books. Don't want to do that.
Yeah, it's definitely It's definitely a great book. I like it better when Midnight Doesn't Talk. Okay, fuck you, Rage, because I know that's a reference to Rage, right, Gur? God damn.
It gets worse. There you go.
Matt Pavu is Ken Hovind's pet boy. Holy shit, Eric! Damn.
He qualifies as a femboy.
Oh, I just woke up. I had a bad dream that Midnight was talking for a long time. Wow, fuck you. Okay. I have a speaking problem. Okay, stop making me feel self-conscious.
Do you?
Are you shaming us?
You can't have a painting without a painter, a building without a builder, and an emotion without an emotioner.
Oh, shaming us. You're attempting to shame us.
No,
can you have water without a waterer?
Yes.
You have earth without an earther?
Stop! What the fuck? Hi! Like what? Stop fingering me! What? What the fuck? What? Oh.
This looks pretty decent.
Your brain is not for thinking. Huh.
Yeah, it really isn't.
You know that. That
side effect.
That seems so true.
Well, no. Okay.
I think a lot of people know that intuitively, and they live life that way.
Yeah.
Well, no. I mean, you guys make jokes, but just read.
Yep. Once upon a time. I love that starting. I love that beginning. I always like that beginning.
Yes, dear.
The earth was ruled by creatures without brains. Yep.
This is not a political statement. It's just a biological one. I love that opening. I'm sorry. I just love it. One of these creatures was the Amphioxus. If you ever glimpsed one, you'd probably mistake it for a little worm until you notice the gill-like slits on either side of its body. Amphioxy populated the oceans about 550 million years ago, and they lived simple lives. An Amphioxus could propel itself through the water thanks to a very basic system for movement. It also had an exceedingly simple way of eating. It planted itself in the seafloor like a bread of glass and consumed any minuscule creatures that happened to drift into its mouth. Next, taste.
I put Jason up next to midnight since I know there's a special thing going on there.
Hang on a second.
Sorry, guys, I have to head off, but thanks for all this. And
Randolph,
No,
thanks for
it's
being back.
called head on. Apply directly to the forehead.
Taste
on.
and smell were of no concern because
good point.
Hang on a second. Hang on a second. So, Jason, I didn't receive
Sounded
any.
interesting. Take care, guys.
Bye. I didn't receive any emails from you today.
Okay, that's bullshit, man. I sent you an email.
To Speed of Sound of Gravity?
Hold on, I'll look at it right this second.
Hey, Jason,
By the way-
you during Rebecca's stream, huh? Motherfucker.
By the way, Jason, yes, I can read. What you gonna do now?
You've yet to prove to me that you can read. Were you just
You didn't
reading
answer my question. How come you want to answer my question, huh?
Well, because
Nobody likes you.
Where was I during Rebecca's stream?
Well, yeah. Why weren't you there?
Because I was there for a while, but I have an actual
Right.
job and like I
Right.
have the stuff to do. I have,
Right. You work at a university, don't you?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, I have a real job.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I sent you an email. I said, let's do it on your let's do it on your channel. We can even
Do it
invite.
when?
Oh,
Where?
that's you. And
Whoa.
then
What
then
address?
I sent an. Hold on, let me just check. It says answers in atheism. Answers in atheism at Gmail.
Yeah, that's a problem. So here's the deal. I set up this new account called Answers in Atheism, and they sent me an email so that I could register the account, right? And they approve it, but they won't let me sign on to Answers in Atheism.
Well, let me I don't know if you know this, but the email you sent me was from Speed of Sound of Gravity, but the reply to is answers in atheism at Gmail.
What in the fuck is going on?
So when I replied to it, it sent it to that one.
Yeah, they won't let me use my password for my main Gmail account. So send it to Mike.Bruznak. You've got that one somewhere.
Okay.
So that'll
I sent
work.
you. All I said was I said I included Danny, and I said, Danny, Speed and I are talking about another discussion of natural selection in Fodor. Would you be interested in stopping by?
Right. Yeah, and I think you and I should talk for like 20 minutes before we get Danny's
fine.
take. Yeah,
That's fine. That's totally fine. He's fine with that.
yeah, it takes some unpacking.
And I think we need a third or fourth person
think
in
it
there to
does.
play a pan flute when things get too tense. So maybe lull
I'll
y'all
come in because I understand
state of
both sides
dreaming.
of the argument, and I got to be honest, I don't think anybody else does.
If there's anybody else in the room besides Danny and Jason, I'm going to drop out.
Look, I think I understand Fodor's position, and and it's a lot. It's not an unreasonable position. I mean, I understand the issues of like discerning the differences between natural selection can't discern between the heart pumping blood and the heart beating. Like it's
why?
It's not.
Yeah,
Because of the intentionality of those features.
No, because that's not the way the theory works.
So wait, so how does
Well,
the theory work?
Well, I mean, the theory just deals with environmental pressures, but
Exactly. It
it's
doesn't
not.
differentiate between different pressures,
correct.
creating different
But
results.
but
You're
that's
going to
what
need a biologist to determine that from the
Anyway,
data.
we'll discuss
That's
it on
what-
your channel.
You can't do natural selection without a biologist. You have to have a biologist there. If there were no biologists, there wouldn't be any natural selection. It wouldn't make sense to speak of things in terms of natural selection.
I'll give you my view of it if we do a show on your channel. So, and there's a little bit of meta to that discussion that we have to get into too about why people reacted so badly to it all, and that has to be addressed.
Are we reading
Anyway.
this?
We're shooting it.
Reading this.
Oh, I thought, oh God, you're tempting me. Shoot it in the head. I'm getting that shoot it in the
Look,
head feeling.
I just came.
No,
I just
no, you're
came
not.
for the. I just came for the femboy discussion. Like,
Why? What are you not
I
telling
think
us?
there are some people in here that like a little bit of the femme bussy.
Yes.
yeah, man. The right femboys are hot, man. What the hell? Yeah, of course.
I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Okay.
you're straight.
My favorite femboy is Canoe.
Yeah, we can't read
other
the whole
people
thing
can-
at midnight, I don't think.
Ah,
But-
fine. Go ahead. Remove remove it. I'll just go read it on my own. It really is fascinating, especially the chapter on prediction.
Yeah, I got to make sure that I get this
Prediction or predication?
in the description.
Prediction.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Speed. Hold on. Before you take that off, go to the table of contents.
I can't. What the? Okay, I'm on this goddamn Google version of Kindle that Amazon provides.
Yeah,
Where the fuck is the table? Oh, there it is. Okay, got it.
Brain is not for thinking. You have one brain, not three. Your brain is a network. Little brains fire themselves to their whatever. Your brain predicts almost everything you do. Your brain secretly works for other brains. Brains make more than one kind of mind. Our brains can create reality.
Yeah,
Good, a lot of good
That's
stuff.
A little wonky.
Looks
Not gonna
pretty
lie.
decent.
What was that? Leo.
I said some of that sounded a little wonky. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but you shouldn't judge a chapter by its cover.
Yeah, well, I need to know what the premise of the book is before I'm gonna be interested in reading it.
7.5 lessons about the brain.
Yes. So what's the premise of the book?
I literally told you.
No, you
7
gave
and
me
a-
the title of the book. What's the premise of the book? The premise is the goal that the book tries to achieve. The thing that the book tries to do. What is the book trying to do?
It
That would be
tries
the
to give
thesis,
you
wouldn't it?
7.5 lessons
No, it
about the
doesn't.
brain.
This does not tell me anything at all.
Uh,
Are these lessons
sorry,
trying
Leo.
to build up? What concept are they trying to build? What's the purpose? Like, what's the premise of the book?
Sort of like a correction about some myths about the brain, I guess, is what I would say.
Yeah, it sounds almost like idealism. The brain creates reality. Really? Is that so?
Well,
Because
I
don't
did
think
not.
it does.
I agree with you, Leo. I was with her until she got to that last chapter. So
I mean, that's not that's not necessarily wrong.
Well, I think it is.
wrong. It's so wrong. That's basically.
Okay,
that's
okay. Hold on.
representation.
No, hold on. You guys.
Hold up. Listen, Linda.
Putting it in the head now.
Go ahead. Midnight.
In the head.
Look. She's not talking about the way Chupacabra, where the fuck his name, talks about it. To where humans have to exist for the physical reality to exist. She's talking about social reality.
Wait a minute. Chupacabra? That's like the Mexican werewolf.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. Who the
Chupacabra.
fuck?
Yeah, it's like a
I-
werewolf, but mangier.
Yeah, can we let
don't
Speed?
know. Hold on a sec. I'm trying to say
Yeah,
something. I don't know
clarify.
who the hell. I don't know who the hell that Indian guy is who keeps spouting quantum
Oh,
mechanics.
Deepak Chopra.
Yes, thank you.
Oh,
I don't know.
Chupacabra of a guy. Yeah.
Chopra's not really an
I don't fucking
idealist.
know.
Deepak Chupacabra.
There's my Halloween party idea.
We have chupacabra in our yard. I've seen them everywhere. They have long tails.
Deepak Chopra.
Like hair sticks
I don't
out.
know, man. I was just trying to get to
I know. I'm just
fucking remember.
just saying.
Yeah, I just.
Yeah,
you
but
know,
why
it
didn't
gets-
you specify how our brains can create social reality?
She does in the chapter.
Yeah, well, see, that's interesting. That's not how it's titled. That's fucking funny. Why did she do it that way? It's a little
Because
weird.
she's the author. I don't know.
Makes me not want to read the book.
Well, you're missing out.
Am I? What am I missing
Who-
out on?
What's the author? What's the author's name again? Chupacabra. What's the author's name? Midnight. What's her last name?
Lisa Feldman Barret. I linked it in the chat.
Oh, okay, I know who that is.
Lisa Feldman, Barret.
So I linked the book, the Amazon link for the book, in the end of the description, not the
Okay,
chat.
gotcha. Okay.
The description, or not the end, somewhere in the middle. I don't know what the fuck. My description today is a fucking work of art.
Okay, I really like the last one. The only thing wrong with trans people are the people who won't accept them. At Jen and Truth on YouTube.
Sounds about right.
Lisa
Yes.
Feldman, Barret. I'm trying to work on the description.
The hell?
Okay, we got to shoot it in the head, guys.
Yes.
All right.
It's
Well,
5:37.
you know,
It's not
who has the
5:38.
finger and the trigger?
I do. I'm in.
What's this we?
The fuck is this?
Well, we, Scott, you are the partner here. You have to vote.
So, hey, is Snake still here?
Yeah.
Hey, Snake.
No.
Before you go, what Speed, what were you saying you found on my channel?
Where the hell was that? God, where did I put it?
I was like disconnecting around that time.
Any of you femboys out there in the chat, you want to message me? Please go for it. Like,
Isn't it Jason the Torn at
Yeah.
gmail.com?
Yeah,
Jason.
exactly.
We'll get the femboy meetup.
Midnight, cute femboys, midnight, cute femboys. So,
I'm not a femboy, bitch. What are you talking about?
wait.
Is there any other kind?
Midnight. You are not. You definitely like. You may not be. You're not. To me, you're a femboy. How's that? You're.
Wait,
I
what?
don't know if he's a femboy. Do you wear like tights and stuff, Midnight?
No,
Okay.
I'm not.
Are you sure about that, Midnight?
You're a fucking dick. You know that?
What? I don't know.
What the fuck was that?
Check it out, okay?
Well, I mean, Jason, you certainly got the teasing down. So there's that.
I'm sorry, Midnight. I'm not trying to tease you.
Flowing like Noah. On the high seas, riding low in the
Moral card. Okay, Leo.
dinosaur adventure park. Jesus.
Okay, what?
Brother, do I
Your name. Moral card.
I shall ride to fat stacks, even though they took me to.
What's wrong with marbled cocks?
Jesus Christ, I'm getting it in the head.
Classic.
Marbled cock.
Hey Snake, follow me back. I have my
Yeah, bitch, follow me back.
I have my account locked, so I need to.
Anyway, I linked this wonderful video from Snake in the description also. So, there you go.
I need to dispel a misconception on the part of our good friend Hive Science. You're always invited. Hive Science. You can always.
You must not be giving her the link because she's not.
Well,
she's not getting it. Fucking
yeah,
asshole.
I will correct that, and it's starting tomorrow. You know. Anyway, of course, I promised Midnight the same thing, and I haven't sent him a link in about a month. So.
You never send me links anymore.
But Bree,
I'm glad Midnight came aboard because I'd been wondering what he was doing and what he was up to.
Right.
Hey, Bree, that picture on Discord is hot.
Yeah.
Wait.
Very cute.
I
just want to say, very cute.
Hey, Bree, would you mind sending me that picture also? Jason, okay, I'm your friend on there. Send me that picture.
No, I don't send pictures of other people. They can send it to you if you want.
Okay, boys and girls, we are ending this
good pictures.
cruel world.
Bye, y'all.
All right.
I'll hit that first.